Keeping your mask on, Drew?
Oh.
And we're live.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, and thank you, board member, staff, and everyone. I know that it's been very busy summer for all of you. I'm hoping that you're enjoying some vacation time and some family time to just recharge those batteries and come back to work. I know it's been very difficult year, and I know we've been very busy. We're gonna hear today from our staff. We're gonna have some updates from our different department, and we're going to give you some kind of general overview of what's been happening in the last few months. So here we're in Finch this morning. I have past chair Bill on my right. I have our VP, Vice President, Vice Chair, Mr. LaRue. Thank you very much for coming out and joining us this morning, all the way from Russell, our General Manager, Angela Coleman, and Diane, of course, to keep us organized. And of course, we have whole WAC staff in the back supporting us and making sure this meeting happened. And without further ado, we're gonna start with we're gonna start the meeting right away, unless anyone have anything else to say. We're gonna start right away today with our agenda. We have approval of SNC Board Director main supplement and agenda. Anyone like to, as submitted, anyone want to add something, remove something, can I have a mover and seconder, please? Jerry and Pierre. All in favor? Thank you very much. Motion carried. Number 3, declaration of conflict of interest, if there is any. Seeing none. 4, as usual, we have SNC project update and PowerPoint presented to us by staff, it is very interesting and very important for board member and for the people that are watching us live this morning, and of course to demonstrate and show, give a little bit overview on what's happening in our watershed. And without further ado, our first presenter is Shannon, if I'm not mistaken.
And just Mr. Chair, before Shannon goes ahead, we have some updates from our summer staff that they will provide during the update. And I just want to again remind everyone that's watching how important that the efforts of the summer staff are, and to thank manager and all of the different departments and board for joining us this summer. And it's always hard to decide how many slides to put in the slideshow, but I wanted an opportunity to present to the board as well this morning.
Thank you very much, Angela, and I'm sure we're gonna after the presentation we'll give them a big kudo and we'll give them shout out. But in the meantime, we can start with Shannon. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this morning to speak with you. My name is Shannon Gutowski. I'm the new communications specialist here at South Nation. My experience is 15 years of media and communications experience, and that includes TV reporting. My background is in journalism and also communications. So I started the communications role at the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters, and subsequently moving through that experience working with Mississippi Valley Conservation Authority in Carleton Place for the last 6 years. So I'm a huge proponent of conservation authorities, and I've worked with John and Kelsey and the communications team throughout my tenure at Mississippi Valley, and I really respect the work that they do, and I really love that, you know, what SNC does. I really feel that they're doing it right. So when the opportunity came up to move over here, I jumped at it, and I'm quite thrilled to be here. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Shannon, and welcome to the team. I know that after hearing from you and reading some of your credentials, we're very happy to have you, and we're looking forward to work with you and to add a new addition to our SNC communication and of course team members. So thank you very much and welcome to the team.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Anyone? Any question or anything for Shannon? Thank you, Shannon, and we move to Alex.
Hi, my name is Alex Jalicar. I've just recently joined the South Nation Conservation Team as a watershed planner. So I have a master's in urban and regional planning from Queen's University and a Bachelor of Environmental Studies from York University, I'm coming to South Nation with 5 years of planning experience with the Township of Russell, and I'm really excited to be part of the South Nation Conservation team. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Alex, and welcome to the team. We're very happy to have you, and I'm sure you're gonna enjoy your time working on the planning files here because we're very busy, and I'm sure that the team are very happy to have you as a new addition. So thank you very much for joining our team, and welcome to the team. Pierre, you want to say something?
Depending on what hat I have on, I'm sad to see her leave Russell Township, but I'm glad that she's with South Nation. She's a great addition to the team, so thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. Any comment? Thank you very much, Alex. And we move forward. We have also another Shannon Murray, please.
Hello, good morning, members of the board. As a new SNC team member, I just wanted to say hello to you all and thank you for the opportunity to work at the SNC. It has long since been my goal to work at a conservation authority where I can contribute to the sustainable development and stewardship of my local environment. So I'm looking forward to the next few months. I will be working on John's team this year as Stewardship and Outreach Coordinator. And one of the first projects I'll be supporting is SNC's sign strategy to help update and replace the signs on SNC's properties. I look forward to working with you all and thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon, and welcome to the team. I am sure John and our team in the communication group happy to have you and to join our SNC team member. So thank you very much for joining us. Any comments? Thank you. And we move with Marie-Louise.
Hello, my name is Mary Louise, and I'm very happy to be presenting to the members of the board for the first time today. I began working at South Nation Conservation last summer as the approval student, and since then I've supported many different projects, but I wanted to highlight a few things that I worked on with my colleague of the approvals team, Alicia House, this spring and summer, including tree planting and tree giveaways. I've also supported the approvals department with the very large amount of planning and development applications that we've been receiving over the past few months. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with the South Nation Conservation team, and thank you very much.
And while we're still on this slide, I'd like to introduce myself too. So good morning, members of the board. My name's Alicia, and I've been working at SNC since 2018. So I was very happy to be returning this summer. And as Mary said, we work closely on some of these projects. And in addition to those ones, I also supported developing planning and regulations workflows and tools to help support the record number of applications we've been receiving. I had the opportunity to work on drinking water source protection policy reviews and some more community stewardship and outreach through presentations with local organizations and to the media, in addition to our youth fish camps that we've just wrapped up.
Thank you very much, Marie-Louise and Alicia. And we have any question or comment from the board?
We'll just congratulate Mary Louise, who will be starting at the Teachers Education Program at University of Ottawa this fall, and Alicia will be starting law at McGill this fall as well. So we wish them both well in their upcoming adventures.
Congratulations to both of you, and we wish you all the best, of course. And we thank you very much for being part of our team in the summer, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm sure it adds some more credential and some more experience to your resume. So thank you very much for joining us, and we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Our next presenter will be Martin.
Morning, members of the board. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, thank you. So my name is Martin Delange, and I've been working at SNC this summer, supporting our stewardship work in partnership with the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters as an invasive species technician. So at SNC, I was able to support many different projects, but I just wanted to highlight a few very quickly. So I was able to monitor several different invasive species on several different SNC properties this summer, and I've now drafted 5-year management plans for each property. I was also able to lead mechanical removal of dog strangling vine at the Watercourse Conservation Area, as well as the Reveler Conservation Area. And I'm very happy to report that we have removed over 1,000 vines from these areas. I was also able to assist with each of the South Nation youth fish camps in which I taught about invasive species. As a last note, I just want to thank all the members of the board as well as all of the staff for this wonderful opportunity. I've really had a fantastic time this summer and I've learned quite a bit. So thank you.
And thank you very much, Martin. And I'm sure that our team at South Nation was very happy to have you and join with them and learn and share your experience with them. So we appreciate your presentation this morning. I want to see if any staff, any board member, anyone have question or comment for you, please. Thank you very much, Martin. We appreciate the effort you've done this morning, and we'll move forward with Gianmarco.
Yes, I think it's Gianmarco.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
Gianmarco.
it's Hope, I think. Is it Hope Boyle?
Oh, so let's skip one. That's one. Oh, it's Hope. Sorry about that.
Hi, thank you. So I just wanted to say hi. My name is Hope Boyle. I've been working at SNC this summer to support our stewardship work as the stewardship summer student. I supported a lot of projects this summer, but wanted to go over a few of the main projects that I worked on, including monthly water quality sampling for the province and for the city of Ottawa. I did a lot of turtle nesting habitat monitoring, for which I just started writing the report for. I was also able to attend and support most of the fish camps that we held this summer, where I was able to lead water quality demonstrations for the youth. As the summer comes to an end, I just wanted to say thank you to the board and the staff for the opportunity to work with SNC. I learned so much and I had a lot of fun. And the friendliness of everyone that I met was just great, and it made me feel so welcome. So thank you for that. And hopefully this isn't the last you see of me. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Hope. And it's really we can hear the excitement in your voice, and we appreciate you join our team. And I'm glad you had some fun and you shared some of the experience with our team. So we wish you all the best, and thank you very much for your presentation this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, now I guess we're back on track with Gianmarco.
Hi, everybody. My name's Gianmarco Maggiore, and I've been working at SNC this summer supporting our engineering work as the engineering summer student. I helped with many projects, including the Bear Brook floodplain study and various field work, computer modeling, and data analysis. This summer was incredibly enriching, and I'd like to thank the board and staff for this opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Gianmarco, and then we appreciate the presentation this morning, and we're very happy to have you part of our SNC team.
And Mr. Chair, if I could just add that one of the things that I think is really important is you people bring enthusiasm, lots of energy, and lots of new ideas to share and to be a part of. So we're always really pleased to, number one, hear from you, number two, have you supporting us. Good luck in the future.
Well said, Bill. Thank you very much. We move with Shannon right now.
Yes. Thank you. So fortunately this year we were able to resume the very popular youth fish camp. So we had 5 camps over the course of the summer with nearly 100 participants, and pretty much every day of the camp fish were caught, which is great. It's always great for the kids to see that. We had some demonstrations from the water rangers as well as the Ottawa fly fishers. And we had a press release earlier this week, which did obtain quite a bit of media interest as well.
And thank you very much, Shannon. I know it's been difficult and it's very hard to throughout COVID to be able to protect the kids and make sure the safety and of course it put a challenge on the way how you administrate those programs. So with nearly 100 youth participants, really happy to see that, and we're really happy to see the education in our community in our watershed for our youth. So thank you very much for your effort. Mr. Chair, Mr. Builder.
Mr. Chair, thank you so much. And I wanted to add that the picture that really impressed me was the young lady who had that monster that she looked at and showed so proudly. Thank you for sharing that one.
Thank you, Bill. Any other comment or question for Shannon? Thank you very much, Shannon, and keep up the good work. Next is Michelle.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. So pollinators are an integral part of our landscape and they support our environment and our economy. We've recently been able to support local efforts to improve pollinator habitat and educate our communities about the threats that are facing pollinators. Our communications team were able to visit Christina Enright's monarch habitat to capture some really great footage of monarch caterpillars and butterflies that we're going to use in online promotion of the Butterfly Way project. We've also been hosting virtual meetings for the SDNG network of partners who are all interested in working on pollinator initiatives. The goal is to share knowledge and experience on local pollinator projects and to collaborate on new projects. And a large similar network for Eastern Ontario is being hosted by the Canadian Wildlife Federation, and information on this network and an invitation to participate has been sent to all of our member municipalities.
Thank you very much, Michelle. This is a very interesting and very good program, I'm sure. And any question or comment for Michelle? Well, thank you very much, Michelle. Hopefully we'll have a lot of participation, and thanks for the effort. Next is we have an update from Shannon Murray.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to quickly update that the SNC Communications Committee was able to hold an in-person, socially distanced meeting on this past July 30th, which was the first in-person meeting since the beginning of the pandemic that the committee was able to hold. There was rainy weather, but overall there was positive feedback, and the committee was able to see the recent renovations, such as the ash tree removal at the property of Jessop's Falls. And we were also able to discuss future plans for the 75th anniversary next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shannon. And I did hear that those meetings, they were very successful, and I heard that the social distancing and all the protocol of sanitizing and people staying 2 meters away from each other, it was well practiced. And I heard from Jerry Kaups, he was also attending. He's a board member and he was really satisfied with the content and with the meeting. So thank you very much. Any question or any comment, Mr. Chair? Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The question I have is the communication department leading the looking at what we do to celebrate the 75th? And has there been an invitation from each of the other committees to offer suggestions at this stage? And I know it's early, but next year is coming very quickly.
Pass that to John.
Yeah, for sure. This was obviously a topic of conversation at our last committee meeting, and we have plans for our September meeting to bring a draft work plan for feedback from our committee members. So at this time, staff are just working on that plan, and I think we have a date of September 16th to provide our feedback and look for input. Thank you.
Thank you.
Supplement, you're good. Thank you, Past Chair Bill. And any other comment or question? Thank you, Shannon, and thanks, John, for clarification. We move with our next presenter, which is Chris.
Morning, board and staff. This is just a reminder that we have a reconciliation gathering coming up on the 14th of October at the Healing Place. And the nice thing is we now have the 911 civic number up, so it'll be easy to find, and hopefully we'll have a sign, which is what you can see here is the latest draft, I believe, of what it'll be looking like. So hopefully we don't have any drawbacks and people are allowed to gather and come in and plant some more trees and learn more about the Healing Center.
Thank you very much, Chris, and we're really looking forward to it. Hopefully that everything stays status quo without the COVID numbers won't put any dent in our so thank you very much, Chris. Any question? Seeing none, thank you very much, Chris. Next presenter is John.
Good morning. As part of our commitment to share our natural spaces with our communities, we continue to manage assets within our day use conservation areas so that visitors can enjoy passive recreational experiences. This slide is an update on some of the ongoing work at the Robert Graham Conservation Area in South Dundas. The Robert Graham Forest is the first property ever acquired by SNC and has been a home of several biodiversity projects. and is also a managed forest that was harvested 2 years ago. The park is currently closed Monday to Friday this week and next, with the property temporarily reopening for the weekend. Work at this site will focus on removing dead or dying trees within falling distance of the trail, along with reinstalling new culverts to improve drainage at the site to alleviate the ongoing flooding, along with a complete trail resurfacing and expansion throughout the park. We look forward to completing this work soon and reopening the conservation area. Updates will be posted on social media. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. We appreciate the update this morning. And any question, Bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. John, is that, are those tasks being done by contract or by our staff?
Great question, Bill. We always employ a mix of contractors and staff to complete the work. The trail expansion was completed by contractors, but all of the trail resurfacing is being completed by staff over the next 2 weeks.
Thank you, Bill. Any other question? Thank you very much, John. And I know next slide is yours too.
I'll pass it over to Pat first. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Just an update on some of our forestry activities over the summer. Logging operations are suspended from the end of March until the end of July. This is to protect the new growth in the forest and also to protect wildlife species as they breed through the spring and summer months. Some of the projects that we've been working on over the summer, putting up new signage on our properties, preparing for forest renewal projects through site preparation, cleaning up and reseeding some of the landing areas that are used during the logging operations. We did discover one well on one of the SDNG properties and immediately decommissioned that well, so it didn't present a hazard. And then we do have adjacent property owners with property next to the forest, and we do inspect the boundaries and do remove any hazard tree removals. The photographs is a shot of the site preparation work that was done on one of the SDNG properties in preparation for an underplanting of the forest.
Thank you, Pat. I really appreciate the update, and I'm glad everything went well. Any question or comment for Pat? Seeing he has his hand up. Archie, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Pat, you mentioned the hazard tree removal on property boundaries. South Nation will come in, and if the trees are falling out of South Nation property onto the neighboring landowner's property, they'll remove them or trim them back. I take it. Yeah, I didn't realize we did that.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you. That's good to know. I can pass that on.
Thank you very much, Archie. Any other question or comment? Bill?
Mr. Chair, through you, have any of the municipalities or the United Counties groups contacted you and had any discussions re all of the trees along roads and all of the trees that have died that are mostly ash but also elm? And has there been any planning or any reaching out at this, or is it still just sort of back there and maybe someday something will happen?
The latter, Bill.
Thank you.
I think though, Mr. Chair, we have been the staffing level trying to discuss with Emerald Ash Borer and other things like that, how we make a comprehensive program and offer that as a suite of programming, and just trying to figure out what that would cost and what the capacity would actually be to do it. There's definitely would be a need for funding. It's a huge amount of trees, right? And I think, right now the priority has been to deal with the hazard trees, the safety trees, and make sure that the property stays safe. So it's generally closest to trails, but as we've had many discussions with the board, we are working towards figuring out the next steps on a program like that.
And supplementary, Mr. Chair, just for your information, I've done a couple of presentations to North Dundas and asked them, have they looked into and considered number one, removal, and number two, replacement? Because I see a number of them that are going to be hazardous on the roads. They're going to fall across lines or fall across roads, and some of them have already. So I think it's something we need to be looking at, and that hasn't really, as Pat kind of indicated, been recognized and not much done on it yet.
I agree with you. Thank you very much, Bill, for your comment. Any other comment further? Thank you very much. Next presenter is John.
So this slide shares our monthly monitoring data at some of the entrances to our conservation areas between January and August 2021. You'll note the grouping of the sites that are open year-round and those that are seasonally open beginning in May. Visitation has been going very well and steady this year, and it looks like we've already welcomed over 122,000 visitors to our spaces by the end of July. Some sites are receiving a little more visitation than last year and others a little bit less, though it's very comparable. I will note that Jesuits Falls and the High Falls conservation areas have been receiving new monthly visitation records. Jesuits Falls received over 6,653 visitors in July 2021, compared to the previous record set in July 2020 of 5,213. Thank you.
It's impressive. Thank you very much, John. Any comment or Bill?
Well, sorry to keep asking questions, Mr. Chair, but I wondered that after the very successful fish camps, if there was an uptake on the number of people visiting any of these areas and perhaps doing some fishing, especially the kids, that you're aware of.
Certainly, fishing is a popular recreational activity in most of these areas, and certainly with the online promotion that we've been doing, more and more people seem to be interested in visiting High Falls and Jesuits Falls specifically to fish with their families.
Thank you, Bill. And that's why we have those presentations, so we can ask questions. So feel free. Thank you very much. Staff are very happy to answer your question anytime. And our next presenter is Kat.
Good morning, members of the board. The sixth assessment of climate science was released by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change earlier this month, and there's a really excellent summary for policy makers that accompanies that report in case you're interested. The purpose of this slide is to provide an update on local initiatives related to climate change. Currently, SNC is using the best science and best tools available to assess how changing climate conditions could impact water resources across the watershed in the future. And this project includes an assessment on which catchments are most vulnerable to both changing climate and land use conditions over time. SNC is also collaborating with the City of Ottawa on a climate resiliency strategy to assess how Ottawa is vulnerable to climate change and to identify strategies to mitigate the risks to climate change. Both are really excellent initiatives, and we'll keep you updated as we move forward with them.
Thank you very much, Kat. Any question or comment, board member? Thank you very much, Kat. And next presenter, an update coming from Michelle.
Thank you. So when we talk about climate change, like Kat just mentioned, major component of the discussion revolves around mitigation. So the natural assets that already exist on the landscape, so our forests, our wetlands, our grasslands, they perform a crucial role in mitigating the effects of climate change. And apart from that role that wetlands play in carbon sequestration, we need to also recognize that wetlands perform incredible stormwater management functions. So they can attenuate flooding by storing large amounts of water, they filter the water that moves through them, and they can hold water in times of drought and then slowly release it downstream. So we've recently partnered with Ducks Unlimited Canada to carry out a suite of wetland restoration projects within our jurisdiction, and there's a report on that partnership coming up later in the agenda. And the goal is to create or restore wetland habitat as part of a national climate mitigation strategy. And what this means locally is that we are prioritizing potential projects in areas where we know there are challenges around flooding and flood attenuation. So that way we can not only improve the local environment, but we can also help to further protect people and property from the effects of climate change. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, for the presentation and update. Any questions from the board member? Thank you very much, Michelle. Next update and presenter is Sandra.
Good morning, board members. This is an update on the natural hazards projects that we're working on, but I wanted to tell you it's very, very related to the last two slides. It's very good that we are looking at climate change as a part of the natural hazards when we do the modeling too. So the two projects we are working on is Bearbrook and the Ottawa River. Bearbrook is in partnership with the municipality of Ottawa. So we sent 103 letters to property owners along the watercourse, and we surveyed 74 culverts and 36 bridges. This is one of the biggest, actually, the biggest inland floodplain project that we have had until now. The catchment is the biggest one that we have studied. After, for the Ottawa River, is in partnership with the United Counties of Prescott and Russell. We send letters to over 1,500 residents along the Ottawa River, and we survey the area. It's approximately 80 kilometers in length. And when I say survey, what I mean is our staff went out in a boat, and they measure the bottom of the river, bottom of the Ottawa River, which is called bathymetry. So we do have contours coming from other studies that were prepared, but what we have to do is correct those contours to to the current data. So this is also a big project, and I want to keep you updated because we are going to see a lot of things coming from these two big projects, related to development and related to the hazard itself. So if you have any question, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for the update. Bill?
Mr. Chair, the 1,500 letters to residents, in effect, what do they cover and why are they sent?
The properties are all the properties, the Ottawa River already has a floodplain mapping, and what we are doing is we are updating it. So we send letters to all the owners in the flood area, the flood risk area, that it was mapped like 30 years ago. So all that people they know. We want to make people aware that we are studying the area, and we also want that they know that we are going up and down with our boat in the river, measuring. So that's the intent.
Supplementary, Mr. Chair, do you get many responses and much input?
Yeah, we got responses from people. Some people, they were asking what we were doing, and not in comparison. There were not many in comparison to the amount of letters that we sent. We sent 1,500 letters, and I believe we probably got, I don't know, less than 20 people getting back to us. We are going to get a lot more response when we plan the open house and all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandra.
You're welcome.
Any other question? Seeing none, thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Jerry, go ahead. Sorry, my apologies.
Yes, Sandra, is there much change in the bottom of the river over the years?
So what I am planning to do is right now we are analyzing the data, and my plan is to bring it back to you next month so you can just see how we do the analysis. So I will answer that question, if you don't mind, next month when we have the data and I put on another slide and I show you the changes. There might be changes. We are expecting some changes, not bigger, but some, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Sandra. And then we'll expect that in the presentation, I'm assuming, with staff. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the presenter is Saber.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, members of the board. So as the South Bearbrook floodplain studies continues, I've been busy with the hydrological analysis of the watershed to find out the amount of water corresponding to different precipitation events. So the hydrological model created for the study is an extended, more comprehensive model considering an area of about 18,600 square kilometers with 600 subbasins as shown in the picture. The model is calibrated and adjusted with observed rainfall events at water survey measurements and can predict stream flow intensities at predefined locations and for various precipitation occurrences with a higher accuracy.
Thank you, Saber, and I'm hoping that you've been enjoying working with the South Nation. I know it's been a couple of months now. You joined our team, and I'm happy to thank you very much for the presentation. Happy to see you. You're faring well, and you're busy doing lots of work in our watershed. Any question or comment from the board? Thank you, Sada.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Next presenter is Alison.
Good morning, board members. Our friends at Raisin Region recently lost their planner to South Stormont. This is a common issue, not just in our area, but within Ontario. And they haven't been successful in retaining a new planner. So we've been having conversations, and I just wanted to make the board aware that we are discussing with both Raisin Region and the County of SDNG how to treat this as an opportunity to create more of a shared program for planning within SDNG County, which would result in efficiency for residents, but also for the counties and the CAs. So we'll be meeting with the county planner next week to go over this and talk about what exactly it would look like. And if we do move forward with some type of arrangement, we will be coming back to the board with the details on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alison. I know this is a challenging time, and I know that we're looking at planner is always, we have shortfall of staffing across the city, not only in our watershed. Very good initiative, and I'm very happy to see that sharing those expertise and working together with our municipality as a partnership. And I appreciate the effort. We're looking forward for some more updates from you if you want to keep the conversation going with us. Oh, sorry, Angela.
Mr. Chair, earlier this week on Monday, the general managers, Mr. Pilo and I did meet for a good long discussion about some of these efficiencies that we can create. And we had a good meeting on Monday, and I look forward to implementing some of these things as the months go on. So it's good.
Thank you, Angela, and thank you very much, Alison, for that effort. Our next presenter is Dave.
Good morning, members of the board. As you know, we track all development applications to provide monthly planning activity reports. Development activity has been high despite the COVID-19 pandemic and consequent process adjustments. This graph compares the amount of planning applications that SNC reviewed and provided comments on from January to August. In 2019, by this time, SNC had reviewed 185 planning applications, 268 applications were reviewed by August 2020, and this year to date, we have reviewed over 385 planning applications. For context, by end of year 2020, SNC had reviewed 450. Notably, near the end of June and early July of this year, SNC was circulated on 49 new severance applications from the SDNG counties, just all in one batch. Simultaneously, our technical staff helps us provide comments on planning files by reviewing technical reports such as stormwater management. To date this year, our technical staff has reviewed 136 reports. We continue to benefit from customer service and process enhancements. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. This is impressive numbers, and as we've been discussing long, we've been talking about the load work that we've been having, and of course the expertise that South Nation provide to those applications. And I know our staff has been really stretched to the max. We really, from the board, on behalf of the board, for the team of the planning, we really appreciate the hard work, and we understand. We let you know, we assure you, we know how much work you've been doing, and we're trying with our general manager. We always have those discussions with the executives and the board member to be able to support you and hire the resources we can. And we appreciate everything that's been done so far. So thank you very much for that. The next presenter is Mustafa.
Good morning, board members. Since working July this year as a GIS analyst at SNC, I've been working on making maps and GIS data for the modelers. And also these days, I'm mainly focusing on the optimizing the geodatabases we have to have a better management of the data, and also boosting the efficiency of the internal portal viewer we have for the users. By that, I mean increasing the speed of the services and then increasing the efficiency. And we're hoping that to have a better productivity and efficiency for development reviews.
Thank you very much, Mustafa. And again, I know that you're adapting very fast into your position. We're very happy to have you, and it's always good, nice to see new people and new new staff coming in and share their good ideas moving forward from efficiency and of course from technology perspective to help to help and support our staff, of course, and our partnership municipality. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Seeing none, thank you very much, Mustafa. Next presenter is Shaheen.
Yes, good morning, board members. So far in 2021, SNC received 22 data requests. These data were mostly about natural hazards, biological data, water quality, LiDAR, aerial photography, and models that SNC have been working on. And we try to come up with answer and have rational responses. So by that, SNC supports development proposals as well as academic research. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shaheen. And I know that also you joined with Saber and Mustafa at the same time. Happy to see you fitting in your position and working hard. And I know it's been busy for all of you. So thank you very much for the presentation and the update this morning. Any question or update from board member? Thank you very much, Shaheen.
Thanks.
Oh, next presenter is Jeff. He's here with us this morning.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, all. This morning, we're going to be talking about one of the many occurrences we've had this year. Record numbers, of course, as you all know. This was a watercourse realignment that was done without some permitting. And the reason I brought it to your attention today is to make you aware of some of the larger ones that we get and how much staff time it actually involves. So when you realign a watercourse, and the picture here shows the realignment, which was classically a straight line directly from the culvert coming from under the road. And this winds its way down through a network of systems, eventually finding its way to the Bear Brook about a kilometer or so away from this location. And of course, the Bear Brook's one of our more sensitive streams. And of course, we're working on it as well from floodplain perspective. So the watercourse they filled in was actually ran through the floodplain. So we do have some fill in the floodplain. We did have several concerns related to sediment control, which I addressed immediately with the landowner, so that went not too badly. But it also involves discussions with Department of Fisheries and Oceans Canada through Brent and his team. So this also involves Sandra's team, the floodplain component. So there's a lot of work in several different departments to try and figure out what are the steps moving forward. And so it all comes together at the end of the day, but you just need to be aware, or the board needs to be aware, that some of these larger occurrences do involve a lot of staff time to come up with the best steps to move forward. And then, of course, we did involve the municipal staff at the City of Ottawa with respect to the drainage team because of the municipal drain at the Bear Brook. So that again took up some of their time as well to work through this process. So that's just a little tip of the iceberg of one of the files that we've been dealing with this summer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jeff, and we appreciate the update. And I know that you're always working in the field to help and work with our partner municipalities, of course, and our landowner to keep things moving and flowing as usual. But I know that regulation sometimes not too many people like it. But I I noticed that today in our conversation, Bear Brook is always come and we discuss the files, and we have so many floodplain update and things happening in Bear Brook. But is that because of the situation and the water always piled in that section of the City of Ottawa? I know that we have challenges in the past, and I know that we're doing more work on it. But is that because we have lots of water and high water table in that area?
I'm going to let Sandra address that. Thank you. You're still muted, Sandra.
Sorry. Okay, could you repeat the question? I'm so sorry. I was looking what watercourse was this?
Well, he's asking about the Bear Brook, Sandra, and why we're doing so much work and studies on the Bear Brook is
okay.
What's triggered that?
Yeah, so the Bearbrook is one of the biggest systems that we have between the city of Ottawa. And as you know, there is a proposed a new development in the area. So when there is a risk or when we see that the new development in the area is being proposed, the first step should be to delineate all the risks. So when we know where the risks are, we know the areas, then we can ask the developments, the development could take place in safe manner. That's mainly why we are working in the Bearbrook. We started working in the Bearbrook system when we did McKinnon's Creek floodplain mapping. You might recall it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And at the time, we discovered that the drainage from the McKinnon's Creek into the Bearbrook, it was, it's a really big floodplain area. And there is many complaints from landowners in those areas. So that's what brought up between city staff and South Nation, the fact that we should do the entire Bearbrook to understand better the system and understand how we can help those landowners to mitigate the flooding. We are talking, when I talk flooding, it's not just the 100-year, I'm talking the spring freshet flooding. So that's why Bearbrook was, one of the highest score streams to do floodplain.
Thank you, Sayo.
But yeah, and I think, Chair, I think, it's a good question, and the short answer sort of is, as we do more of this floodplain mapping, there's two things that are really driving floodplain mapping and existing development. One is proximity of areas to close proximity to a major center. And as major centers spread out, we go further into those areas that were either not mapped or not considered for develop earlier. And then considering the natural hazards on those sites, because sometimes sites, inherently have a lot of natural hazards, which is why they're not as developed in the first place. So as development land spread out, we're always dealing with that. How close are they to the existing major centers, and how much hazards are on those, and how do we delineate those so that everybody knows ahead of the time what those studies will look like and what we're looking at for future development, how we can make it safe.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And probably I will take this conversation offline, because this is there's so many municipal drain in that area, and I know it's so complicated and it's not the first time, so I'm wondering that this discussion, but I know it's been very difficult situation in Bearbrook. So thank you very much, Sandra, and thanks, Angela, for clarification. And Bill.
Mr. Chair, this is a question I should have asked earlier, but I'm wondering if I can direct this through you to Chris. I'm looking at the October 16th event, wondering if there are a few more details on what may happen, and is it a restricted group or is it open to visitors, and just a little bit more information like that.
Chris, are you still on?
I think it's October 14th, right?
It's 16th, yeah.
I think it is this. It's a good question. I don't have the thing
Thursday,
on hand.
October 14th.
Okay, there we go. No, I believe it's going to be, as long as there's no restrictions, it's going to be open to other people. And I believe there will be press releases going out shortly for this. So, other than that, I maybe Rhonda can help out a little bit if she's still on as well. It's a whole working group that's working on this. So, I believe there's going to be a press release and more stuff coming shortly.
So is the idea that it's an open day, or is there sort of a 9 o'clock ceremonial start where people can attend and then disperse for the day? Is there a time set for anything in particular, or is it an open event where people come throughout the day to pay respect?
Any First Nations always got an opening event. There's always the opening prayers and Thanksgiving, and then it's so if it's always nice if people could be there for that, but if you can't, it's open to whenever you can come in, because we are going to be planting trees and doing maintenance on the site itself, and there's going to be other people there as well. So hopefully elders are there that they can be talking, and it's about just doing all these different things in remembrance of the children that haven't made it through the residential school system. So
I suspect that Chris and Rhonda will follow up with the with the time, once it's confirmed. It sounds like still ironing out some details, and we'll send those up, and that will be on our events calendar as well. Look forward to a little bit more firm time as the details become available.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Chris, for the clarification, and I'm sure when you have those information to circulate it to the board member, we'll be happy to share it. Bill, any supplement question you got?
Thank you, no.
So thank you very much, and that brings us to our the final slide of our presentation. But I'd like to take that moment on behalf of board member, our general manager, of course, or our staff, to thank and welcome, of course, our new addition and our new staffing in our SNC team. So I welcome both Shannon and Alex to our team, and I also want to wish all the summer students that they work with us and share their expertise and their experience with us. Wish them all the best of luck, and we hope to see you back again anytime soon. But if not, the best in your future. So thank you very much, and that will conclude our presentation from staff. So thank you very much. Before we move forward in our agenda, I would like to ask our general manager, just for quorum, see if all board members, see if anybody's here or not. So can you please do roll call?
Okay, so board members, I will do a brief roll call. If you can just know either by showing your hand or letting me know you're here. I have Chair George DeRuse with me. I have Pierre LaRue, Vice Chair with me. I have past Chair Bill Spurl with me. Michael Brown.
Here.
Steve Densham, I have regrets from today. Dana Farkashu. Dana, do we have you on the line? Okay, well, if Dana comes on, let us know. John Hunter.
Here.
Jerry Coutts, I can see. Archie Mellon, I can see. Catherine Kitts. We have regrets from Catherine today, and Francois Saint-Amour. Here. Thank you. We have quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, and I really appreciate your attendance, board member, today. On the, I hope you're enjoying your summer, and hopefully there is a little bit more left of it. So hopefully we'll see you face to face anytime in coming meetings soon, and then we'll keep you updated with Diane and Angela. We'll keep making sure that we'll be able to get together anytime in next meetings, probably I'm hoping September, but we'll keep you updated. So thank you very much. So recommendation, a member of approve the board of directors electronic meetings minutes of June 17, 2021 as submitted. Can I have a motion? Can I have a mover and seconder, please? I see John and Francois. Any addition, anyone want a correction or anything to the minute? Seeing none. All in favor? Thank you very much. Motion carried.
I have a question. Page 9, there's a further that. There's information that will be coming forth, and will we hear that at the next meeting or today? Staff work with partner municipalities and neighboring conservation authorities to prepare a fee schedule update and compensation guidelines for administered zoning orders. And that was a further that we're going to hear more of.
Mr. Chair, the report is scheduled for September.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So B, SNC committee meeting highlights and minutes. The member approved the board director electronic special meeting minutes of July 15, 2021 as submitted.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, just point of order. We had the board meeting minutes from June 17th, and we also had the special meeting minutes of July 15th. Oh, yes. We can do it as one motion. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that, and the mover and seconder are fine with that. Does that stand?
Yeah, because we had we had an emergency meeting.
2 sets of minutes. Yeah. Thank you.
Is that okay with the mover and seconder? It was John and Francois.
Seems fine. Thank you.
Thank you. We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're in B right now, SNC committee meeting highlights minutes. So the board director approved the action and recommendation of the following committee meetings. Number one, low water response team meeting of June 30th, 2021. And second is communications committee meeting of July 29, 2021. And number three, low water response team meeting of August 3rd, 2021. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Pierre and Bill. All in favor?
Before you do that,
question, yes, go ahead.
a quick question, and it is, there's a meeting of the low water response team that was scheduled for the 25th of August, but with the recognition that we are not having a problem, will that go ahead or is it canceled?
I can answer that. Oh.
Sorry. Is that a yes or a no? Are we hosting an August 25th?
Is Sandra here? No, the August 25th meeting is canceled. There is no low water now. We are in a normal. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for clarification, Bill, and thank you, Sandra. Any other question concerning the committee meetings? Seeing none, I have a mover and seconder. All in favor? Thank you. And that number 6, we have a new business. A is update. We have an update Conservation Authority programs planning and technical review, and we have Allison. It's on your agenda from page 30 to 33.
Good morning, board members. As you know, staff have been presenting on various programs and services as part of our preparation for our budget this year. We have done a previous review of our septic service. We saw a nice presentation from Monique. And last month we heard from Rhonda on the partnership programs that we have. So this month we're focusing on our planning department, which includes technical reviews and some of our risk management under the Clean Water Act. And next month you can get ready for regulations and natural hazards, which will be a pretty comprehensive program update that Sandra and I will provide. Next slide. So to, I guess, remind everyone, or for newer members of the team or staff, our planning department actually includes both planning review and technical review. And as part of our planning review, we also comment on things like source water protection and private servicing. This program operates on a cost recovery basis, which is somewhat unique. Sometimes we have partnership programs that also use our fee schedule, but the planning department has its sort of set fee schedule, just like a municipality. When a development application comes in, someone will be receiving an invoice from us for that service. We operate as sort of a professional office, and we generally comment on natural hazards. And just as a reminder, natural hazards are things like floodplains, erosion, our potential retrogressive landslide area. So all of those types of features on the landscape. And we actually have a delegated responsibility from the province to comment on these. So we actually act on behalf of the Ministry of Municipal Affairs through a delegated memorandum of understanding. Next slide. So that delegation actually dates back all the way to 1983. And over these many, many years, it's evolved to come kind of full circle from just dealing with floodplains to including all of the natural hazards like I discussed, erosion, etc., to also filling in gaps with local municipalities. And these gaps were filled by memorandums of understanding. For example, the memorandum we have with the United Counties of Prescott-Russell on file goes back to 2005. And those memorandums outline all the additional work we do for municipalities on the planning side of things. It also formalizes things like timelines, circulation requirements, etc. So when people ask sort of, why do you have to review my stormwater report? We go back to these memorandums that we've had for many years. The City of Ottawa, we've recently negotiated a new memorandum of understanding. It has gotten a little bit longer, a little more complicated, but generally we're doing most of the same work that we've been doing in our office for 10, 20 years now. Next slide. So what does a planning review actually entail? Well, basically we receive applications directly from municipalities. So any municipality putting out a consent to sever, a subdivision, a zoning bylaw amendment would circulate our office. We have intake. David, who you heard from earlier today, would take in these applications and enter them into our OnBase, which is our software that we use for a database. And then what the actual planners have to do is meet with proponents, call the municipalities, participate in various meetings with applicants to get information depending on complexity of the file. We provide written comments, which are letters. You can see an example here. Back to the municipality, and we have timelines we have to meet that are quite strict. And usually our timelines, we're cutting those in half these days because everybody's in such a rush. As a result of some of the applications that people make, they may have to do a technical report, and there are certain technical reports that South Nation has expertise in that we review for the municipality. So we essentially act as an extension of the municipal office on many aspects of what we do in planning. But at the core of what we do on our planning comments is always the natural hazards, because we in that situation are actually representing the Crown. There are times where we also have to participate in municipal planning exercises. So whether or not we're looking at community design plans, sub-watershed planning, different types of things to support the municipality as they develop and grow, we participate in that. And then we also occasionally present to committees. So planning committee, land division committee, committee of adjustment. Next slide. What do we actually review? So our letters are actually quite comprehensive. As I said, the role of South Nation and other conservation authorities in planning has evolved over time. So under natural hazards, we look at floodplains, unstable slopes, unstable soil, and we also comment on our regulated area, which can also really influence the way land division can occur, the way lots are laid out. And then on behalf of the municipality, under their official plan, we'll look at natural heritage as well. And natural heritage is our wetlands, our woodlands, our watercourses. And some of the stuff that Jeff has done and some of the presentations James made in the past, South Nation often gets involved in defining what a watercourse is and what the setback from those watercourses should be. So it's a very important role when these features are present, that South Nation is there with the municipality helping to make these determinations. We also provide private servicing comments. So Monique will weigh in on whether or not the proposed lot could actually accommodate a well and septic. And we often, I think, have some of our most important comments on this angle. A lot of people come in and want to have a smaller lot, and when that lot is sold, it may not be appropriate for development, which would be the absolute worst case scenario. So those comments are invaluable to the municipality to evaluate when they're making decisions on creation of lots. And then the last thing is our source protection. So under our agreement with municipalities for risk management, we comment on all of the source protection policies. So it's a bit of a value add service for municipalities. So these letters, although we try to keep them short and sweet and to the point, they sometimes can get long depending on how many of these features are present. Next slide. Now, the technical review services that you hear about each month, this year being an absolute record year for these types of things, we are specifically talking about things like environmental impact studies, so determining if there's any negative impact on something like a woodland or a wetland due to development. Geotechnical investigations, so that's more to do with unstable slopes, erosion, not so much with actually the building quality of the ground. And hydrologic and terrain analysis, that's Mike Mullaney's area of expertise, and we do quite a few of those reviews in United Counties of Prescott and Russell, just dealing with different areas where there may or may not be good water quantity or water quality. And a big one is our stormwater management reports. We review stormwater management for site plans, so that could be new commercial development, for new subdivisions, and we see quite a few of these reports come in. This service, in my opinion, is absolutely essential for our local municipalities. There's not that many aggregate reviews that come in, but when something like an aggregate review comes in, most municipalities will come to South Nation seeking assistance to review things like the hydrogeological component and impacts to wells, impacts to source water protection, drainage. And because of our knowledge in both regulations, drainage, stormwater, hydrogeological, like we can offer a very comprehensive service to municipalities that would A, be much more expensive to obtain elsewhere, but B, wouldn't have that local knowledge. We have so much data and so much expertise within our watershed that I don't think there's a better service that they could obtain elsewhere. So the municipalities do rely on us as a peer reviewer. And I think that that service is well appreciated by most of our local municipalities. Next slide. So the last little aspect of our planning team I wanted to touch on today was our risk management office. So those are also municipal agreements that have been in place since 2015. We have about 11 municipalities that are currently under an agreement with South Nation to deliver this. This is under the Clean Water Act, Part 4. Practically, what we do most often is screen new development, and we issue what we call a clearance letter. This would be done for large development, small development, building permits, depending on which part of the watershed we're talking about. In this case, we were screening some landfill expansions that were planned close to municipal drinking water well. And our team plus the staff at Reason Region have the expertise to give great advice to the municipality in this regard. So we offer this service through our planning department, but we also do one-off screening for building permits as well. Next slide. So to get to sort of the meat of why we're talking about planning, how do we offer this service? Well, we've already talked about the fact that most of our work is covered by longstanding agreements, either with the province or with the municipalities. These are negotiated and discussed regularly, but we also are premised on our fee schedule. And the fee schedule, as Chairman Bill, or sorry, Bill mentioned, sorry, Bill, the fee schedule all comes to the board annually. We did think about bringing it this month, but I thought it might be better next month after our discussion and we hear from you guys. So this is approved annually by the board. There's a 2% cost of living that's generally applied to that fee schedule. This year we are talking about some changes as we see more major applications within the watershed. And you did mention the minister's zoning order, for example. We do try to balance this fee schedule. So obviously we want to be reasonable. The fees have to be sort of similar to what other CAs charge within the City of Ottawa. We're consistent with the CA partners, and we aim for about a 90% cost recovery. The last time we did a full assessment of our fee schedule was in 2015. And annually we do more of a general sort of net assessment year to year. Next slide. And to cover some of the planning costs that are not covered by the fee schedule, which I think it's important to make the board aware, there are many landowner and municipal inquiries, for example, formal development review team meetings, but also just inquiries from landowners thinking about buying properties, thinking about doing different developments. So many of those calls, meetings don't result in planning applications, and those costs are not recovered. However, they do provide great advice to the local municipalities. Often we're supporting the municipality on these calls. There are also many municipally initiated applications. And so if you are a levied member of the Conservation Authority, you're not charged for those applications that your municipality may file. Right now we have applications for severances. So we have a bunch of industrial severances in South Stormont, so there's no fee for those. We have zoning bylaw amendments, comprehensive zoning bylaw amendments. We have two, one in Nation, one in North Stormont going on right now. And also two large official plan updates, the United Counties of Prescott Russell and the City of Ottawa. So throughout the year, we do have municipal applications that we spend a good amount of time on. That time is invested so that the policies, the zoning bylaws are of good quality because that's what influences all the comments we provide. So we spend our time there now to make sure that in the future we have good policies to rely on. We do receive some money from the province through a transfer payment, and that money does offset some of the costs related to commenting on natural hazards. And we do take a small amount from levy as well. Next slide. So that's the update. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Alison. This is a lot of technical reviews and lots of services that we deliver to our partner municipalities. I know that every municipality running a different way of their planning, and some municipality have the resources for those applications, and we know that we have a lot of small municipality that they depend on our services and our resources to be able to help them with, and that's why we always thrive on hiring and having the best advice and best staff to be able to help and assist on those applications. Because technical review, believe me, it is very important for the future of our community on how we build and how we expand our villages and our rural municipalities. So thank you very much for this overview. It's very well presented and lots of information on it. I know I have some questions from board member. Do you want to add something before I move to questions?
Sure, I can just sneak in one more comment before the board questions.
Please go ahead.
Over my time as the Director of Development Review and as the General Manager, I know that municipalities, you know, it's from time to time, municipalities, specifically smaller rural municipalities, will have a variation in staff, right? Whether they have no planner, whether they have no CAO, whatever the circumstances. And I can just, you know, I know that there's a lot of jargon on these slides, but in pure language or a straight shooter type of approach, what's really been important, I think, over the years, and what we stand to lose if we're not careful in this provincial process is, you know, both Allison and myself have sort of filled in almost those roles of when a municipality is missing a planner to help them with the county process or to help them with the provincial process. And, you know, the other thing about that is sometimes you have new staff, sometimes you have new council, but sometimes you're unlucky enough as a municipal corporation to be faced with both new staff and new council. And it's those times when a municipality has new staff or no staff and new council where we really have seen a lot of value added. I mean, I've gone as far as for municipalities with no CAO to make their delegations at AMO about particular, you know, instances or situations that they have. And when it comes to something like natural hazards, and if you have them in your municipality and you don't understand what it is and the risk that's involved if you allow certain development applications to proceed, same thing with water and small lots and what's at risk if you allow developments to proceed where you have, you know, subsurface that's really not conducive to good water quality and quantity. It's only in time that a municipality will understand, I think, the expense sometimes that we face. So I just wanted to put that out before we had, you know, a more esoteric discussion of, you know, should we be reviewing X, Y, and Z? But where we've really seen this as essential is those circumstances, and keep that in mind where you've got both a new council and a staffing challenge. And what that's very possibly in the next year, what we could see in some municipalities, as we know, there's staffing challenges right now, and there's also going to be a municipal election next year. So I just think we're fortunate when we have long-standing staff and long-standing councils that get to understand the issues. But at any given time in our 16-member municipalities, I always have a municipality, and it's not always the same one, that's facing both new council and staff challenges, and that's where these types of things are important to see everybody through. So that's my comment.
Oh, well taken, Angela. I agree with you, and then we've seen examples in the past. I'm not here to bring whatever happened in the past, but the municipality carried lots of liability, and good planning is very important and it's healthy for our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I understand where you're coming from. So we're going to move to question before we have the recommendation. I have Archie's hands up, so Archie, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Allison, you had mentioned that a member of South Nation, some of the costs are not, full costs are not passed on to that municipality. Is that correct? Just clarification.
Yeah, if the municipality starts the application themselves, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I fully agree with that, and I fully endorse that. At the 90% cost recovery, if you don't factor in, I guess, what the municipalities initiated planning, I'm personally think that we should be trying to get higher than 90% cost recovery with the staff and the expertise that South Nation has and the increased staff to cover all the planning activities. I would personally like to see us try and get that number higher than 90% for large developments, private, if you will. I fully endorse, and I don't want any municipalities to pay any more for what services we provide now at cost, at a reduced cost, or, you know, whatever. But if you could separate the two out, because I think we need to try and get a higher cost recovery than 90% for any other developments and whatnot that aren't a municipal led inquiry or review. So that's my only comment, Mr. Chair.
I have two comments, if you will, Archie.
Yep.
One would be that for next month for the fee schedule, I will get you that estimate with the provincial transfer payment factored in. So that wasn't factored into the 90. That might get us a little closer. So that stat might be a little different. And then the other thing is, one thing I've been considering for the fee schedule, and I believe Angela was supportive, is that some of these very large major projects that we're seeing that take an incredible amount of time and effort, we're considering to make a, like we talked about for minister zoning, a major projects fee that's a bit higher. So we're not necessarily trying to raise fees for people putting in docks or sheds or, simple projects, but for example, Rideau Valley dealing with the LRT, it's been a very challenging project and they're not able to achieve the cost recovery they'd like to see. And these are big, big, big developments. So I will consider that for next month, and you should see both those updates with the report next month.
Thank you, Alison. I couldn't agree more that let's hit the pockets that are the deepest and leave the little guys alone.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Archie. I supplement. Thank you, Archie. And thanks, Alison, for that. I have a question from past chair Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a question and a request. The question is, when you bring the fees and updates next month, are they new because of requirements from the new Conservation Act? Are they what we've just identified as a part of our regular tasks, etc.? Have you a comment on that?
The fee schedule update is not being impacted by those the regulation update, I think, that you're talking about from the province. It's just being updated by new types of things like minister zoning orders and major projects. So that's just our business that we're assessing and commenting on for the fee schedule. Is that answering your question, Bill, or did I miss your intent?
No, thank you. You've answered. And the request, Mr. Chair, I really was impressed with the slide that we saw a few minutes ago on natural hazards and natural heritage. Is there a possibility that the information on that slide could be included in the minutes? I know it's kind of an extra request, but I haven't seen it written that nicely laid out anyplace else, and I'd just like to see it in writing.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure that can be arranged. I'll work with Di on that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Request granted, Bill. Thank you. Any other question from board member? Alison, I do have a quick question concerning the aggregate applications. I know you don't do a lot of them. In case the municipality doesn't have the resources, if there is a PIP application or that, will South Nation usually take the role to deal with the MNR concerning those applications, or so you'll be that body to help those municipalities?
We have in the past.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ange. Sorry.
You go ahead. You've got the experience in it.
Yeah, so in the areas where we have expertise, we absolutely can help the municipality at request. We recently did one for North Stormont, where they just said we can't respond to these concerns from our residents about wells and water quantities. So the big thing is, if the municipality supports us, we will cost recover on those files. So we will work something out with the aggregate company to establish our fees. We'll set out a quote for that work. We work with them to kind of be the municipality's representative. It's not the same as a planning circulation, but we absolutely can and do that regularly. We have a great representative from MNRF that we talk to. And we have a great knowledge of the process and how it works. So that can be a really tricky file for a small municipality to be thrown unexpectedly, and we're absolutely able to help.
Yeah, thank you. And that's why I brought it up, because I know that we deal on the complex applications. We have a lot of pits in our communities, in our watershed, and I know how costly it is. And that's why I want to make sure that I know that you do your homework and have a cost recovery on municipality, but those applications could become very complex. So I'm glad that we have the expertise in-house to be able to help our partner municipalities. So thank you very much for answering the question. Thanks, Angela. Any other question? I think So thank you very much. We have a recommendation. The board of directors receive and file the Conservation Authority programs, planning and technical reviews update. And I see Archie and John. And all in favor? Thank you very much. Well done job. Thank you very much, Alison, as usual. We move to number B in our presentation, and I think it's a request for approval, locally significant wetland mapping services agreement. Also, Alison, we have a recommendation. Do you have presentation, or we can just go to the approval?
No.
Questions, I think, but we can do the motion and then have the questions if you wish.
I'll do that then. The board of directors approve entering into service agreement with the Township of Alford and Plantagenet to map locally significant wetlands within the township, a total cost of $16,000. I'll have a mover and seconder, and then we can have questions if that's Bill, and I have Bill and I have Pierre. Questions? Perfect. So no question. Motion carried. Sorry. All in favor? And now I can say motion carried. I spoke before my turn. Thank you. So we move our next request for approval with Duck Unlimited Canada Service Agreement that we have. We'll do the same thing where the board of directors approve entering into 3-year professional service agreement with Duck Unlimited Canada for total of approximately $375,000 plus HST. I know we have Michelle here to answer any question, or if the board want to hear, I'm sure they want to hear why we're entering with this agreement. So I'll give you the opportunity, Michelle, to say a couple of things on that and see if there's a question, and I will go to the motion.
That's great. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Ducks Unlimited Canada submitted a proposal under a federal program called the Nature Smart Climate Solutions Fund. So like I spoke about in the slideshow, this is to create or restore wetland habitat to help mitigate climate change. And the projects will be done between 2021 and 2024. And their proposal was successful. And many of the projects that they want to do are located in Eastern Ontario, in our neck of the woods, which is great for us. And we all have an existing partnership in place with Ducks Unlimited to provide support and expertise for projects that they're doing under a provincial funding program. So naturally, the success of this partnership and our local expertise led Ducks Unlimited to request our help with the implementation of these new wetland restoration projects under the federal Nature Smart Climate Solutions Fund. So we're going to work with Ducks Unlimited for the next 3 years to complete some wetland restoration projects within our jurisdiction. And we're looking at about 225 acres over those 3 years. And the projects we're looking at are going to be primarily on SNC owned properties, but we've also looked at other either public properties or OPG, St. Lawrence Parks Commission, as well as potential private landowners who are interested to do projects on their land as well. So we're going to be coordinating on behalf of Ducks for some of those projects in our area, and we're going to be supporting some of the work over the next 3 years. So we're very excited.
Thank you, Michelle. We're very excited and very happy to see the partnership with Ducks Unlimited Canada. I know that you've been having a lot of success in the last year working with them. So those are very good initiatives. I see if there's any. Seeing none, I know that we have a motion. So can I have a mover and a seconder for the motion, please? I see John and I see Dana. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you very much. Motion carried. And we have a D, request of approval for funding applications. Page 48 and 49. I know Michelle and Rhonda here to talk about them, but you go ahead first if you want to say a couple of things before we go to the recommendation.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll do this one again on behalf of Rhonda and myself. So we are, this request is for 2 retroactive grant applications. So we submitted an application to the Canadian Wildlife Federation to create some pollinator habitat at our new Mill Run conservation area in Augusta. And the grant is to support purchasing seed, preparing the site, as well as any equipment or tool rentals we need to create a nice pollinator habitat about 1.5 acres at that site. And we're going to be doing that in 2022. And then the second grant is to Tree Canada under the National Greening Program. And it's to support our tree planting program. So the funding, if successful, will go towards either 2021 fall tending or 2022 spring tree planting.
Thank you, Michelle, for the clarification. And the Board of Directors approved the submission of the following funding applications. One, Canadian Wildlife Federation requesting $14,000 to create pollinator habitat at the Mill Run Conservation Area. And number two, Tree Canada Nation Greening Program requesting $79,822 to support 2022 spring tree planting. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? I see Francois and John. Any question concerning the both funding applications? All in favor? Thank you very much, Rhonda and Michelle, and motion carried. E, request for approval enabling accessibility fund, and this is John. The recommendation is the board director retroactively approve the funding submission to Employment and Social Development Canada for the construction of accessible washrooms in SNC conservation area, and further that the board directors approve entering into agreement to accept $100,000 and to complete the work between 2021 and 2023. I'd like to have a mover and a seconder, and we can move to questions. Jerry and Dan. Question to John, or John, you'd like to talk about the funding application, please?
Yeah, for sure. A few comments. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My report can be found on pages 50 and 51 of your agenda package and is a request for approval to enable SNC to enter into agreement with the government to accept that $100,000, which will be put towards the cost of constructing a new accessible washroom facility at the High Falls Conservation Area in Castleman. No matching funds are required for this grant, which was submitted by SNC last July. However, additional fundraising is still needed to support the project next year. The municipality of Castleman has committed some funds to support this project and the design plans, which will be worked on this fall. At this time, the outdoor privies at this park have been closed for 2 years, and SNC has been renting an outdoor accessible portable privy at this location. The size and the scale of the project will depend on the remaining fundraising, and several funding requests have already been jointly submitted with the municipality that are pending review. This park, as you know, is managed through agreement with the municipality, and it is understood that this new asset would need to be partly managed by the municipality in the future. Once the project is complete, staff will work on an update to our memorandum of understanding with the municipality. And of course, should you have a question, I'd be pleased to respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. And do we have any question? I see Dana have her hand up. Is that a question there?
It's just a comment. Thank you, Mr. Chair. John, I just want to let you know that the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville applied for a similar grant through ESDC, and they were rejected. So if you, and they got some feedback as why. And they are reapplying again, but if you want, I can provide you with the contact information of the clerk, the deputy clerk there, and she can definitely provide you with some feedback on how you can make your application in a such a way that you'll be successful.
Certainly, feel free to connect me directly with her, and I'm also happy to share our funding proposal as well. Obviously,
yeah,
it was successful.
Yeah, I will email you her contact information, and I will have a chat with her, letting her know that you will be reaching out to her because yes, there are some things that anyway, you'll see. You have to word the application in such a way in order to ensure that you'll be able to receive the grant. Okay,
Absolutely.
that's all for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to connecting with them.
Thank you, Dana. That's a very good idea, and then you guys can reach out to each other after the meeting, and then hopefully we'll be successful to help you to give you some tips. So thank you very much, both. Any other question from board member? Seeing none, we have a motion in front of us. Dana and Jerry move it and second. Okay, all in favor? Thank you, John, and motion carried. Next one is the request for approval, Mill Run Conservation Area designation from page 52 to 53 on your agenda. And John also, you have a comment, John? Go ahead.
Certainly, I can comment first and perhaps take over in second or after, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. I mean, some of our members will recall several board reports in the past from 2018 until now that have discussed the possibility of creating a passive recreational river access site to the South Nation River that would allow paddlers to launch their canoes and kayaks within the township of Augusta to travel to the historic Spencerville Mill in the township of Edwardsburg Cardinal. This property was recently donated to SNC by the municipality and is one of our first assets in Leeds and Grenville, now located at 5659 McRae Road. Thanks to support provided from the municipality and with financial support from the Government of Canada, staff were able to restore a portion of this 9-acre property to create a parking lot and small access to the South Nation River. It is this site that we hope to create a demonstration site for pollinator gardens next year, and you'll note that funding request on pages 48 and 49 that would be directed here next year. Our next steps for this property with the board's support will be to officially designate this area as the Mill Run Conservation Area, a name which promotes SNC's existing canoe and kayak route name and the stretch of the headwaters of our river system, which has been popular for canoes and kayaks. This site hasn't had a formal public river access outside of the Spencerville Mill, and many of you will also recall the Spencerville Mill poker run that traditionally would take place in this region pre-pandemic. We're looking forward to sharing this site with our communities, and we will install new signs at the site and install a car counter to help monitor visitor traffic once the park is opened. We will also use this information to inform our maintenance needs, and we'll establish a memorandum of understanding with the municipality for this property. And of course, as always, should you have questions, I'd be pleased to respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. This is very exciting news, to be honest. We've been talking about that for a long time, and I'm happy to see it all coming together collectively. I know the board members are very excited also to share with you those feelings. So thank you very much, John. So we have a recommendation. The board directors approve the designation of the new park in Augusta Township as the Mill Run Conservation Area, and further that the board of directors direct staff to work with August Township to enter into an agreement to manage the conservation area as day use park. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? I see John and Pierre. Do you have a question or comment for members? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carried. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Our number G, update on site sewage permits issued, and we have Allison from page 57 to 63. Go ahead, Allison, you can come.
Hello. So a quick update for our sewage system program on our permits issued. You can see we're all over the map there, also covering vacations throughout the summer. So needless to say, Monique and the team have been pretty busy. And just to make the board aware, every severance we receive also gets a site visit from our septic team. So they do the site visits. So as you recall, we had about 49 applications come in SDG. So they were also running around doing all the site visits for those. So I'm sure we put a few miles on the cars this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison, and we see the hard work that Monique and her team doing on the floor, of course, with the high volume of applications. So we appreciate all the new application and the work that's been happening on the field, so we have a recommendation. Board of Directors receives and file the on-site sewage permits issued update. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Archie and Jerry. All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Allison. And next H, which is update planning activity, Allison also, and it's on your agenda, page 57 to 63, the report. And go ahead, Allison.
I won't say too much. You've heard enough from me on planning this month, but if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much. You can see it, I see it on the map, all the dot and all the minor variants and site plan control and the pre-consultation that our staff has been doing in the last couple of months. So that's a lot of hard work and those are high volume applications. So thank you very much. Any question? Recommendation, the SNC board director receive and file the planning activity update. I have a mover and seconder, please. I see Archie and John. All in favor? Thank you. We appreciate the hard work. Motion carries. We have a request for approval permits issues. Jeff, he's here for comment or question from, and it's on your agenda, page 64 to 67. And Jeff, you wanna comment or you're good? Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excuse me. That's my usual housekeeping report. And you can see before you a list.
Sorry, Jeff, we lost you.
Oh, we got you back.
Had a little technical difficulty. Sorry about that. So this is a list of permits that have been issued since June 4th of 2021. The usual report from me and an update on the occurrences that we've attended, although we've had others come in since then. So thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate the hard work and all the permit has been issued, and I know it's been very difficult and it's very challenging. Thank you very much for that. We have a recommendation for the board, and the recommendation, the SNC board directors approve permits 77-126 issued under Ontario Regulation 170/06 development interference with wetlands and alternations to shorelines and water courses. Can I have a mover and seconder? I see Francois and Dana. And all in favor? Thank you very much, Jeff, and motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, we move to number 7 on our agenda. It's financial reports, and we have request for approval, money received and disbursement registered for June and July 2021. From page 68 to 74, the board directors received and filed the money received report for June and July 2021, and further that the board approved the disbursement register of $1,358,036 and $36.54 for June and July 2021. Can I have a motion, please, and a second? Can I have a mover and a second? Dana and Pierre? Any question, comment? Go ahead, Archie. Oh, all in favor? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Thanks, Garth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
To be request for approval, 2022 budget and levy schedule. And that, Linda, it's on page 75. The board of directors approved the 2022 levy and budget schedule as presented. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? I see Pierre and Bill, and we have Linda. If there is anybody have a question, Linda, you have any comment?
Just a comment. This is the regular schedule that we've had in place for quite a few years, with the levy report coming in October and then the first draft of the budget coming in November.
As usual, thank you very much for the work you've done and you've been doing, Linda. We appreciate it. And can we have all in favor of the motion? Thank you very much. Motion carried. Thank you, Linda.
Thank
you. Request for approvable tangible capital assets update. Linda also, she's here for questions, and it's on page 76 to 84. The recommendation board of directors approve the update SNC policy. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? I see Michael and Dana. Any question, comment? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carried. C, request for approval 2022 tree planting fee schedule. And we have a recommendation. The board of directors approve 2% increase to the SNC tree planting fee schedule for 2022. Around here, if there is any question, can I have a mover and a seconder? Jerry and Bill. Any question? All in favor? Rhonda, thank you very much. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 8, we have a supplement agenda. Board members, you have it. It's what's sent and it was updated on the portal a couple of days ago. And so we have 2 items. Number 1 is financial report. And the board of directors received and filed estimated statement of operation for the year ending December 31st, 2021, as of July 31st, 2021, updated. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Dana and Pierre. Linda's on the line if anybody have a question or comment. Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you very much. Motion carried, Linda.
Thank you.
And we have a number 2. It's closed session.
Yes, Mr. Chair. The second items on supplemental involve 2 things requiring the board to go into closed session. One is regarding purchase of land, and the second one is an update from legal on the property violation matter. So both of those will be dealt with in closed at the board's purview. And I suppose, are we adjourning? Are we breaking first?
Yeah.
Okay.
But before if the board doesn't mind, I know there. Archie, is that your hands up for a question or?
Yeah, I was just going to ask if we have a 5-minute break or so in between open and closed session. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely, it's going to be granted the 5-minute break. But before we break, it brought to my attention. I know that in July 17, in my comment to the board, and we did 1 moment of silence for our colleague and our friend. I consider Gita a very good friend of us and to the watershed, and he served on SNC. He's the mayor of Rockland, of course, and Clarence, and he also served on SNC, and he also served on RVCA. I want to thank Michael Brown to bring it to my attention that we mentioned it in the July meeting, but I also like to say to the board members on behalf of them and to our staff and our general manager, we've done. We send the family cards and we send them some condolences on our behalf. And I know I'm personally going to miss him a lot. I know I'm going to miss my meeting with him, not only as an SNC board member, but he and myself and Pierre and Bill, we travel to Roma together. There is multiple initiative and programs. Our cities, the city of Ottawa and Rockland, and to Roma, we've been engaged. I know that I just want to bring this to the board member to let them know that we wish we give our condolences to his family. I know he's going to be well missed throughout these with those meetings. And if any board member would like to say any few words or something, I'll give you the opportunity. I know that he was close friend for so many board members here, and we'll always remember him. But I know it's a little bit emotional for me. I apologize about that, but he's been very good friend. So thank you very much, Phil.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I could add, he was a very dignified and very efficient and effective administrator. And I worked with him along with the CEO here when he decided that he would like to expand the Clarence Rockland area to include all of it. And he was effective in how he presented and what he did and how he coordinated the activities of the board. So I was most impressed with him and thank him for his work.
Thank you, Bill. And so on behalf of the board members and our staff, our general manager and our team, SNC, we convey and we give the condolences to his family and his friend and to the township of Rockland. I know that he's going to be well missed. So thank you very much for allowing me to take those few moments, and we're going to move on with our closed session. So I'm going to have a recommendation. The board directors meeting move into closed session for the following report: request for approval, land acquisition, update legal property matter, and I will be verbally. And I have thank you, Bill and Pierre. So it is 10:45. We're going to give you a 5-minute break and we'll be joined. I know that Carl sent you the link for the closed session. If there is any difficulty, please let us know. And motion, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. And
Archie's joined.
just do a little roll when we get a roll to call back.
This one, board member joining right now.
Actually,
11:30, 15 minutes.
we just need one more, right?
Well, we have all of us too, right? So we're good.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. The members of the, I'm just going to do a brief roll call to find out who is on. I have with me George DeRuse, Pierre LaRue, Bill Smurl. I see John Hunter. I see Jerry Couts. I see Archie Mellon. I see Francois Saint-Amour. I know that I think I have Jennifer Cashew. And do I have Michael Brown?
Yep, here.
I'm here, Angela.
Dana. So we're just, but they're the people we're expecting, so we do have quorum.
Thank you.
The board of directors is just reconvening following closed session, moving into open session. Mr. Chair, we do need a motion from the floor to put us into open session.
Bill and Pierre, and all in favor? Motion carried, you got it. Thank you.
We are back in open session and we have quorum. Board of directors went into close to discuss two matters. Matter number one having to do with land acquisition. And the board of directors has a motion now in open session that the board of directors approve the acquisition of property 1, Township of South Stormont, to an upset limit as discussed, plus ancillary costs. Looking for a mover and a seconder, Mr. Chair.
I see John and I see Francois.
I have John Hunter, seconded by Francois Saint-Amour.
All in favor? And the motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And supplementary in closed session, solicitors from Alton-Alt, Warren Leroy joined the board of directors to receive an update, verbal update on a legal matter. And we just require simply, Mr. Chair, mover and a seconder to receive the legal matter update provided by Angela Coleman, that's me, and Warren Leroy, General Manager, Secretary, Treasurer, as well as legal counsel, Alt and Alt. So looking for a mover and a seconder for that.
I see Jerry's hands up and Dana. All in favor? And motion carried.
Okay, and that is the end of our business, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. And then we have number 9. We have, of course, some dates for you. We have some, our next upcoming meetings will be third Thursday at 9 a.m. unless indicated otherwise. And that will be September 16, 2020. Sorry, it's on the agenda 2021. Sorry about that. I'm reading from the agenda.
Yeah,
it's 2021. Hopefully, if I'm assuming if all the board in agreement and general manager will send an email a couple of weeks to see if people feel it depends on the COVID situation, if people want to join by in person or not. So I'll leave this to each and individual board member and how they're comfortable. And of course, we'll check in with the general manager, Angela, and with Diane to making sure that this is possible. Also, we on October 21st, 2021, OEMC conference, and it goes from October 20 to 21st in this year, coming up. Also, November 18 will be SNC 2022 budget presentation. So that will be probably longer than, if you have a question, preparation, or anything like that, let us know, and that will be in November 18. And our last meeting will be December 16 for 2021 for this year. So those are the dates that we want you to highlight. And number 10 is further motions of the board and or discussion of SNC issues. And I see a hand right on my right-hand side from past chair there.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. My question actually is on the dates you put forward. The 2021 OEMC conference, if persons decide to go to that, will our meeting on the 21st interfere very much with that? And if you do join for this one, what are the costs? Are they the same as usual or are they considerably less?
They were a little less, I couldn't.
But not much.
I can let you know.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, please go ahead.
My understanding is with the Ontario East Municipal Conference is they're hosting a few in-person mixers, so you can buy it if that's available at the time. There's a couple events for mixing in that's just like a, you know, more of a social hour if that's allowed. But the conference itself is mostly virtual, so I think that the attendance thereat is just sort of probably navigatable within the having the board meeting at the same time. And like I said, those other events, I believe they're more not late evening, but early evening events. So they're more mixers if there's anything in person.
Usually they're in the evening.
Yeah.
Anything from board member? Your time is, you have any discussion, you want to add something, you like to say something, you want to give a compliment or comment to our general manager or our staff? It's your time right now.
Well, Mr. Chair, I would make the comment to the general manager and staff that I am impressed by the number of the programs of requests for action that have been received and dealt with really well. So I think, although we're in a difficult sort of situation, our business is going on really well. And I think compliments to the GM and staff because of that.
I second that, and I'm sure Pierre will agree with you also from the executive. So thank you very much, Bill. And I guess, John, please go ahead. I see your hand.
I was just wondering with your fishing program in the spring with the kids, you've conducted at 3 places, mostly in the eastern region there. South Nation partnered with Edgersburg Cardinal and putting fishing docks and ramps in at our Cardinal waterfront there, and we have a handicap dock in there that children can fish off and stuff. If there'd be any possibility in extending that into Edgersburg, part of that program next spring.
Mr. Chair, I think John coordinates all those, so we can speak to that.
John is on the line. He can answer.
Certainly. Thank you, guys. And yes, that site is a place that we were looking to expand our youth programming into. And it's something that we're hoping to explore next year. And of course, that was the design and the intent to installing an accessible dock along the St. Lawrence River in your municipality. So we're looking forward to that possibility next year.
Well, I'm sure the township would like to support in that. As you know, we're spending a lot of money developing our waterfront park down there, close to $250,000 on it this year in programs and stuff. So we'd really like to highlight it if we could next year. So.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Very good, double John, actually. Thank you, Mr. Hunter, for your comment, and I'm glad to see that there is a lot of support and people want to support our programs, and appreciate that.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, that fishing program has been very, very successful, and I think asking and expanding it is a very worthwhile cause.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bill. If there is no more further discussion, can I have an adjournment, please? I have the Board of Directors meeting of August 19, 2021 be adjourned at 11:23 a.m. Motion carried. All in favor? Perfect. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and the staff, and Angela, of course, and Diane. Thanks for helping us here today, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks all.